So good early afternoon, and thank you for joining me on this lunchtime shakeout run. And although this run is just going to be a short, easy jog to loosen my legs, it could be one of the most significant runs of my running year. And that is because, if all things go well, this will be my last ever run in my COROS Pro 2 watch. So having been a Garmin user for several years, going back to about 2003, I think I got my first Garmin, for the past year I've been wearing the COROS Pro 2 for my runs. And there are three main reasons I switched to COROS. Firstly, COROS tend to have a much better battery life than Garmin's, and I can be a forgetful type, so it's useful for me to have a long battery life for those evenings I forget to charge my watch for the next day. In fact, I find without charging, even the mileage I run, the COROS will last up to a week without being charged. Secondly, the COROS Pace 2 is incredibly light and unobtrusive on my wrist. You forget you're wearing it at times. And thirdly, I just love all the running specific data you get both on the COROS app on the phone and on the COROS hub on my laptop. And in fact, related to that, what I also like about COROS is the absence of suggestions like you get with Garmin telling you what it thinks you should be doing that day using artificial intelligence. I'd rather use the intelligence I've gained from several years of running to tell me what I need to do on any particular day. So thank you, COROS, for leaving it for me to decide what's best for my running that day, not some algorithm. But the time has come for my COROS Pace 2 and myself to part company. And that is because last week COROS released the Pace Pro model, a significant upgrade on both the Pro 2 and Pro 3 models. So in this video, I'm going to go through 5 reasons why I have decided to invest my £349.99 of British pounds into the COROS Pace Pro, and why I think it is a significant improvement on the watch I currently have. Now, I'm not a particularly technically proficient person, so this video will not be full of information on the technical standards of the COROS Pace Pro. This will be from a point of view of an ordinary runner who just loves his running, likes to analyse the data to inform the rest of his training, and likes to feel he's got a good quality running product on his wrist. So the main reason I've upgraded from the Pace 2 to the Pace Pro is the AMOLED screen, and that's a word I've had to learn. The AMOLED screen that the Pace Pro provides. Basically, it's a much brighter, higher quality screen, and as we're now into winter and a lot of my running is going to be on dark nights, I believe that the screen will be a lot brighter, a lot more visible, and will enable me to monitor the pace and effort I'm doing on my nighttime runs and sessions. So Dawn has an AMOLED screen on her current Garmin, which I think is a 965, and yeah, I'm impressed with that. So I'm really excited to see that COROS have added the AMOLED screen with all those brightened features onto their new release watch, and I'm really looking forward to running this evening, hopefully for the debut, so I can see how that works for me. And in conjunction with the AMOLED screen, the watch face size has increased from I think 1.2 inches to 1.3 inches. In daily life, when I'm working, I generally wear glasses, so it'd be good for me to have that slightly larger screen to look at when I'm doing my runs. So the second reason I've switched is something I alluded to earlier, and that is the battery life. There's an improvement to a massive 38 hours of battery life depending on what mode you have the watch in. Now, as I said, I'm not going into all the technical details of what mode will give you what, but I'm massively looking forward to not having to make a daily charge part of my routine, knowing that my watch will last a considerable length of time without having to be constantly charged. So the third reason I'm looking forward to wearing the COROS Pace Pro is the improved heart rate sensor. So I have had a COROS heart rate strap, which unfortunately I have mislaid. So for the past month or so, I have been doing my runs using the sensor on the Pace 2, and I would say its accuracy is about 80%. Once it locks in, it's very good, but at the start of some runs, it does take a while to get up to where I think it should be. And therefore, some of the readings on my harder efforts, parkruns and races, are a little bit askew. But I have read that the heart rate sensor on the Pace Pro has been upgraded. There will be fewer issues, and it should produce more accurate heart rate data than the Pace 2 currently does. Now, the fourth reason I've upgraded, and one thing I'm really looking forward to getting to grips with, are the colour maps. Now, it's not a feature I've used on previous watches I've had, but I believe because I'm investing £350 in a new watch, I don't want to use just 10% of its capabilities, which is pressing start, pressing stop and analysing the heart rate data and pace and elevation on a given run. So I'm going to look at the map function, which I believe has been upgraded, and I'm going to use it to plot some nice routes either near my house or when we're away from home, and see how that particular function improves my running experience. I also believe there's a better storage capacity. It's increased from 4 GB to 32 GB, and therefore you can load your own music on. Unfortunately, I don't think the COROS PACE PRO is still compatible with Spotify, which I'm signed up for. Listen to a lot of my music and podcasts via that, but I'm still hoping that the increased storage capacity will come in useful for runs on my own when I'm listening to podcasts and listening to my music. And then the final reason why I'm hopeful that the COROS PACE PRO will be an improvement on the PACE 2 is actually in the connection charge. So currently, and this is a well-known issue with the PACE 2 and I believe the PACE 3, when you charge the watch, the connection between the cable and the actual watch itself is quite weak. If it's on the floor and you walk by and slightly knock it, it tends to come out and you think you've charged your watch and it hasn't. But I've seen and read that the connection cable for the PACE PRO is a different design and almost impossible to knock it out of position. So I'm hoping that that little glitch is actually removed from the PACE PRO. So what I'm going to do later is go and collect my PACE PRO from the post office where it's been left. I'm going to unbox it and then try and get it working for tonight's run. I will take you on the debut of my new COROS PACE PRO watch. So are there any fellow COROS users out there? And if so, how do you find your COROS experience? And are you thinking about upgrading to the PACE PRO? Let me know in the comments below. So after work, it's dark as you can see, so I'm actually going for a run with both watches on, the PACE 2 and the PACE PRO, and I'm going to do a compare and contrast on how visible they are and indeed what data they both come up with. There's actually 3 levels of brightness on the new watch, and they are standard, bright and max. So I've increased it from standard to bright for this run, and we'll see how we get on. So just under a mile in, these are the numbers. Just going to check there on heart rates. The old watch says 133, the new watch says 126. Compared it to Dawn's, which says 112, and I'd normally expect about 14 beats difference. I think the new watch is measuring the heart rate more accurately, but it is further down my wrist on the traditional place you'd wear a watch, and the old watch is further up the forearm. We'll have a look when we get back and see what it all says. So just did a turnaround back there, but both COROS watches still managed to get the mile bang on despite the U-turn. Going well so far. What I like on the heart rate graph, it's absolutely solid. There's no like spikes or anything. So my initial in-depth first impressions with you, absolutely love it. So I'll just go back and have a look at the data on the app and the COROS hub and then update you then. But what I'm going to do is wear this for the next month, the new COROS PACE PRO, and then I'm going to do a 1-month review about how I found it. If there are any kinks that I've had to address or iron out, what the first thing I'm going to do actually is change the face. The main number, as you could see tonight, was the heart rate, and that's fine for just monitoring effort on an easy run like that. But I'll just have a little play around with the data screens and see what suits me. So what's your preference? COROS, Garmin, or perhaps Apple or Sunto? Let us know in the comments below what running watch you have and why. So I can see that both watches recorded exactly the same distance, which is encouraging. And if we compare the readings from the PACE 2 to the PACE PRO, we can see, as I said during the one big difference is in the heart rate there, 3 beats lower on the PACE PRO. The major discrepancy seems to be on the elevation gain, 112 there on the PACE 2 just 30 on the Pace Pro, so that's something I'm going to have to be mindful of moving forwards. So if you've liked this first impressions of my new COROS Pace Pro, then please give this video a like, and if you'd like to see how I get on with it over the next month when I put up another review of my 1 month findings, then please subscribe to the channel. So until next time, keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on.